good morning. A very special good morning to you. And for those of you who are listening, thank you for coming. As rain or shine, we are here every Friday at 10:15 for the report on Smart Robie as well on VSA 360. And today, we also have what I reported on our podcast, the 5-day downturn of the US finally turned up. But guess what? The futures are turning up higher. So we will see a bit of rally. But our local market, the KLSE, is facing a wind of resistance. And let's get down to the details and why is it so here on our breakfast show with VSA 360. Now let's get to some of the points I want to talk about this morning in here, and we have prepared for you. And also this morning in here, what we're going to be talking about, the pullback, the KLSE pullback that we talked about last Friday, that we think it was really to test the 1500, but it failed. So what's the next step is likely to happen? So let me break it down to you, and how to read the stage 3 distribution, and perhaps find some intraday trade for this year-end rally, if you believe much in what I'm saying in here. But I do think that there are some more localized trade. You just need to find them, have a good screener, and perhaps the Smart Robie apps do provide them, but our VSA 360. And also, don't forget, we have our December sales, our year-end December sales, which will end this coming Friday. For 4 days left, buy one, get one free. So make sure you capitalize on that one. Find a friend, and then you just need to pay 50% of the thing. Now, what are those rules? Have you prepared the watch sheet if you're going to get the year-end rally? Now, overall, more important, we always talk about backtesting and believing in the system and how certain we are with our TradeVSA. And definitely today, don't go away yet. At the end, some after the intraday session, we will talk about some of the past win rates, because usually people do ask me, hey Martin, how good are your stock trade idea from your screener, especially in a trade? What are the win rates? And let me share with you some of those win rates, just going back to maybe 2 weeks or more, where we allow the time to run. That's what we talk about, this medium-term trader, and more importantly, supported by the right sector. Now, if you are experienced, this is definitely one of the great tools that you can use, and definitely you can also sign up for our 10-day free trial and check it out more. Of course, just give us a feedback on the above QR code in here. We love to hear from you and see what's going on. And of course, our TradeVSA is a universal for trader as well as for investor, giving you both intraday, medium, and even long term in here. But the focus, a little bit part of this morning section, will be on the intraday. And don't forget our new intraday section, the stock alert notification, risk to reward, which will tell you whether this market can potentially go higher or not. Now let's take a look, and to this morning, 9th of December, 5 things you need to know. And unfortunately, as I said before, the KLSE have finally turned red pentagon. Not so good, isn't it, right? We were waiting for it, but KLSE, the Pentagon Guider, is always early. And let's take a look at where we are this morning. Okay, we pretty much where we have here. So the VSA 360, you can see right now we are just slightly up 2.83%. You can see from here, but red pentagon came out on the 7th of December. So that is a tall tale sign what we have. But of course, we also have 13 so-called from the alert center. Everything is still pointing to the red pentagon, red pentagon, red pentagon. You can see that not so great. CTOS has turned red pentagon. Hibiscus, which was the darling of the energy sector, has turned red pentagon. Dayang too has turned red pentagon. So you need to take note of all this right in here, all right, because we did have that big sell-off. And remember, the KLSE is one of the so-called tall tale signs of in here. Now, having said that, let's go over to the dashboard, and we also want to look at our regular things that we have. And let's take a look. And this is technology is still the dominant one, technology. Number 2 is energy, but it has sort of tapered off from last week, which is the 1st of December to 8th of December, just looking a day before the market closing. So right now, Hata is leading in here. Mostly all of them are continue to be green. And this is what I've talked about in here, the foreign funds flow, which is important to see when the market is leading. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of downturn, and that's why the KLSE is turning up. So we need this big boost. Okay, let's hope that some of the policies that are set up by our new the 10th Prime Minister, Dr. Sri Anwar, may be positive, and then you'll see this nice boost going up in here. Give me a thumbs up as we are, if you are doing a great job in here, and do share this video in your timeline too. Alright, so what we have so far, and let's take a look at also on the Pentagon guide wish list in here, and we do see some of them are started to turn red Pentagon. You can see, right, KLSE has turned red Pentagon, and previously we were green Pentagon, and fortunately some of them are turning plantation turn already, right. It is already a red Pentagon some time back. You can see from that here. What else? KL Energy is just turned red Pentagon. You can see right at the top there. And at one point, Tenaga, some of these, I believe technology would also turn red Pentagon too. So a lot of them are turning, and that's why we are saying, can the KLCI December rally really fade off? Okay, it does look like it's fading off. First sign, we have the KLCI turning red Pentagon in here. The rally that we are seeing is no longer there. So, which does look at our seasonality return, which we base a lot on our so-called historical trend following in here. Just wait for the chart to come up, and we are waiting for some sort of sign that that this turn market is. Now, take note what we have seen for December. All the while here, you can see it's always been positive, and right now we are minus 1.54. Now, do take note, as I mentioned before, the last 3 days, around on the 30th, 29th, 31st, the market do rally, and sometimes they rally about 5% in there, and that will take us up to about 4% positive for the whole year, and that's usually what's the case maybe, because it's much easier to push it the last 3 days, and guess what, then we have a January sell-off. So year end may sound like to be good, but usually this is what they do on window dressing. So he hit first in this market in here. Alright, and also the other thing that the market they are looking at is going to move on to the personal watch list. That's right, the personal watch list. Some of the strong sectors and weak sectors we just share with you in here as the market started to turn more to it. Now, on my own personal stock list, you can see only Toughest turned green Pentagon. The rest has pretty much turned red Pentagon all around in here. Globetronics. So that's going to give you even the G-Tronics started to hit low. Let's take a look at G-Tronics, which we were talking about. The market couldn't go higher as it started to trend back up, but this morning is up 0.88 cents in here. Did turn back to red Pentagon despite having a red, so that's red Pentagon not so good. So this is a part that in the shorter terms, those of you may want to exit this stocks if you are trading this stock. Longer term, I think it's still pretty okay. It's rated 5 out of 8, so that's one thing positive about this stock. So use the VSA 360 to your advantage in here. Now, the KLCI overall has retreated from the old high at 150 when the news of the appointment of Dr. Sri Anwar as the 10th Prime Minister in here, and that was the time the market actually turned green Pentagon earlier on. But let's take a look at this market in here. Where we are right now is, you can see here, it's blocked by the logo. It's a red Pentagon here. So the red Pentagon is already appeared, so that's why we have to watch out for S3 distribution. After Pentagon appeared, we have to watch out for it, but we do see some sort of bullishness in the market. But let's take a look at the market as where we see right now. We have the market now likely to trend down. That's why we're saying this is a S3. The red Pentagon has to come up first, but the overall trend still pointing up, the stronger trend. You can see the railway track still up. Maybe this could be a buying point, holding on the 20-day moving average in here. But should it break below the moving average that we see this railway track, then we are going through S3 distribution. Now, on the VSA market stages indicator, when we use it to measure, it's kind of important that this 200-day moving average is the showstopper. But right now we are seeing this very nice sort of a pullback, and if any of the economy indicator coming up that is going to be positive, you'll see this market. This week is ending. This weekend closing is very important, which means tonight the futures closing need to be closed very well, because if you do notice, most of the two-bar reversal where the market started to turn back up in here, we see a stronger closing on Friday. So tonight or this evening at 5 o'clock, we want the KLCI to, at least on the futures, to close stronger. Then you have this nice up bar. If it does go something like this, then we are seeing likelihood next week it's going to trend lower, or perhaps retest at the 1430 level in here. Okay, so that's the scenario I'm painting in here. So you probably have some sort of good understanding going into the market right now in here. The 200-day moving average at 150 will remain to be the resistance. Now the KLCI is turning into a S3 market down, but can we find some intra-trade day or not? Now the focus has always been the Pentagon Guider intraday trade. Alright, of course if you can use our 10-day free trial, we can check it out in here. There are many kinds of trade in here, and if the trade doesn't work in trade, you want to be exit over the last trade. Back tested it to give you a good expectation, but keep in mind the KLCI now is negative, so you need to move quick if there is some sort of a trade in here. Follow those hot sectors, especially if there are some technology or energy, you might want to take those trade in here. And that's particularly what some of our members are going through, and this is part of the 100-day onboarding orientation. They're going through this in here, right? So let's take a look at some of the success first. On looking back the intraday trade that we have 2nd of December, so to give you the kind of success. So looking back on the 2nd of December, we have a lot of the candidate of the green pentagon. Just take note of the green pentagon. And the first one we are looking at is Sedania. The volumes are pretty good, 12.9k. And then we have the Yili, only 330, so we don't take that one. 3.7 is okay. This one is 340 and it's penny stock, so you may stuck there. Pekka is okay, 18.3. So we'll look at how, if this stock were to be talked about on 2nd of December, how would we look like today, especially after a 1 week movement on the 9th. So first, the VSA 360 intraday Pentagon daily intraday spotted at 86 cents at 9:36, and it is above the the market stages above the zero line, so that's a pretty good setup in here. But if you look at it, the market is still moving in a sideways market, and no doubt right now the market actually turned red Pentagon just about on the following in I think 3 days later. So you need to exit when the red Pentagon to avoid more losses, and this kind of trades usually do happen. You don't win all the time, alright? So maybe a small loss, but then we have a good trade in here for Sedania. The volume was pretty good in here, but again take note, this is below 47 cents, so you need to be an experienced trader if you want to trade this. So it was formed an uptrust and then immediately took out the uptrust on the following day, and you could see the market picked up at 26 cents, but it was below the zero line in here. So this one was a really big mover and eventually did move up. As you can see, hit a high of 31.5 cents, giving you a 21% profit potential of 1,000 ringgit from a 5k trade. So this trade you win, the previous trade you don't win. Just to show you, we have more winners than losers if you've been following some of the channel that we talk in here. So this is holding up at right now at 29 cents. I think it's also a good time to be taking some profit in here. Next trade is Tomel. You can see at 99 cents, pick it up at 102 at 9:36. It is trading above, okay, trading above the zero line. Okay, so that signifies the trades are pretty decent to be above it in here. Then, okay, let me get back to in here. But the market is holding up still around 98 cents. Oh, still around 98 cents in here. And the market is holding up above the 200-day moving average. This is where the market actually breaks up. You can see a lot more stock above the 200 moving average, then you will likely to see more of the KLCI doing that too. So the idea is behind is to pick those stocks that satisfy those criteria we talk about in here. Even right now, the market is turning from forecasted year-end rally to a slightly bearish year-end, but it can give you reasonable success if you trade the shorter term. Screen through the Pentagon Guided intraday trade, you can find new fishers just like this fisherman every day, focusing on any criteria that's 47 cents, targeting 3 to 4% in here, maximum of 8 to 10%, and if you're experienced, you can run a bit longer. So that way you're more effective and faster. Now, let's take a look at the list this morning. Now, keep in mind the KLCI is red. We have Fiamma, Ramso, and also SAP, this is Sapura, the oil and gas player. The volume is pretty good, 1.4 million, but this one, remember, is 4 cents, so we don't want it. This one 42 cents, we can take a look at it, and also Fiamma. So let's take a look at these stocks that we have in here. Okay, Fiamma on this side, and of course next week when you join us again, the same time, same segment here, we'll take a look at also Fiamma. And so this one looks good in here, 128, and next one is Ramsol. Okay, Ramsol Group, and you can see Ramsol Group is 41 cents here. Alright, so this is the stocks. The nice trend is Fiamma. Who knows, the market may start to trend back up. I do like this. I may want to do a trade after in here and see next week how we do with that one. Okay, so 2 trades in here. We'll take a look at next week when we come back in here. Alright, now let's take a look at the following segment that we talk about some of investor. Now this is an example of a medium longer term trader, as well as because of the work routine, he's constantly outstation and cannot monitor, especially when we talk about those intraday, but he wants to play on stocks that can appreciate in prices, and that's why we introduce this medium to a long-term trader. So one of the things that you want to be doing is a very forward-looking trading on stocks on the medium longer using Pentagon guided stock trade idea. Some of you may have, and the idea behind that is to trade. Now this is a calendar, or the calendar that you select in our Pentagon guided, I'm going to show you next here, is all color coded. When you see the blue color, that means the KLSE is actually green or blue uptrend, and the orange that you see here, these are when KLSE is yellow. Right now the market is yellow, so this is where you want to avoid, or if you do really want to trade, you only want to trade the intraday Pentagon intraday movement in here. So that is the general consensus that we have. So let's take a look at the example that we have here, and you can see we go back just 2 weeks ago to the 21st of November. 2 weeks ago, you can see this was a blue trend zone, so this is fine. You can see on that purpose itself, when there's a nice trend, win rate, okay, win rate is 87%. So that's why we talk about when the market is trending, you get a win rate. That was the stock that we picked on the 21st of November. So the range, there was a 10 entries, 10 out of 10 giving it a win rate. So win rate means looking at immediately after the green Pentagon on the opening price to yesterday closing. So you can see here we only have 1 losers, 2 sort of no change, 0-0, but we have a 17% winner, 11%, 8%, 7%, 4%, 3%, and 2% in here. Of course, those bigger margins that we see here, right? Bigger margins one usually are penny stocks in here, and irrespective, right? Because we pick it up very early, the volume tend to be very low on that day, and also the turnover in here. So you can check out end-to-end GDAX that turned green Pentagon on the 21st, but it was still a positive in here. Now, of course, if you go back to the 14, okay, go back to the 14 here, which is 3 weeks ago, then the profit will manifest, will become bigger in here. Now, you do see that it's a trend that the longer that you run it, you accumulate more profit. That's why we talk about Mr. Anthony, who don't have time to trade and they want to monitor from a further distance in here, then they're able to run their trades for 3 weeks, 2 weeks. If that suits you well, then Pentagon Guided is something which will fit you very well in here. You can see from this here, the win rate, 14th of September, win rate 75% in here, and you can see, which means out of the list that is picked up here, about 15 of them, 75% of them make money in here. Okay? You can improve this better by learning how to look into the stock and learning how to trade. Definitely the steel stocks were doing well. Here you can see 40%, 23%, 22, 10%, 10%, 6%, 4%, 3%, and 1.9% in here. The bigger one is always the smaller, less than 1 ringgit. So keep in mind, those of you who like the big gains in here, this is the kind of stocks that you want to trade. And sometimes the volume may be low, but if the market doesn't move, you want to take exit in here. So the lesson learned, the trade idea summary in here, 2 simple rules to follow is you need to know your stop loss, entry, and entry is possibly just the day after the green Pentagon in here. Now likelihood to be opening from the Pentagon guider where they start to move up. Of course, you want to pick when the blue trend zone, like we see those calendar up there that is blue, giving you a higher success in here, and holding 2-3 weeks longer, even up to a month. That kind of allows you to, not to be following it much closer compared to intraday. So that's something interesting. We find that maybe good for some of our audience in here to take advantage for our December buy one get one free. Now let's look at last night. The potential trade. Now remember, you can see last night, which is the Thursday 8th of December, and it has turned what we call yellow or orange trend zone in here. So this is something that you might just want to avoid for time being, as the market has already turned. And success may not be that good. But again, we can look back in 2 to 3 weeks time whether we see this market run or not in here. So that is usually what we want to train you to use, right? You can see some of our winner in here like Eric, Kitgo and Zenly. They are practicing some of what we taught in here, especially beginning of a 100-day onboarding orientation. You are the next winner in here. So just started last month. We are starting our 100-day for all our new members in here, and you can see some of the senior members started with 50,000. They're already in the profit, and as of 7th of December, just 2-3 days ago, they're up to 300,000 in here. Of course, no doubt they are paper trading in here, but they are able to build portfolio up to 3 to 4 times. And isn't it great that you're able to share and really learn from these members how it is possible to make the kind of return that they do in here? And I think that is something that we do a lot in our TradeVSA sharing community in here, because we want everyone to really benefit in here. So 4 days left for our VSA proprietary system, the VSA 360. You can do profit from our VSA proprietary Pentagon system. Buy one, get one free. The offer end on the 12th of December, and you know what? The early bird gets the early worm. Now, of course, here is that they do a lot of transaction. As I said before, one day could be more, and that's why they are able to make the kind of return here. Small, lama jadi bukit. That is the trend behind it here. So keep in mind. So the product, our success VSA story, is something that we are very proud of, and we want you, especially if you're not a member yet, to become also part of our orientation that we can really train you in here. And don't forget, the sales end in 4 days. Alright, and we get huge responses, good with feedback from Google in here. We really thank you for their outcome. And of course, as part of our education, next week we have 2 webinars. Okay, continuing on, they will be related. Tools to build trading portfolio and quick and informed decision with intraday alert, which is something that we want. We talk every morning, but we're going to go into more depths, doing a bit more case study and answering some of your questions that you have. So do join us on the 14th and 21st of December. Starts at 9:30 right in here for our next live FB in here. And of course, we love to hear your feedback. And if you really want to try it out, our VSA 360, there is a 10-day free trial. Check it out, and also contact Zach for that one. Now let's take a look at some of the stocks that you have. For me, if you want me to take a look in here, I'll be happy to do so. Alright, if it's not, thank you for coming today, and wish you a good holiday, those of you who have not gone for a holiday yet. And I'll be back on Monday with the morning podcast on Smart Robie apps in here for our breakfast show. Thank you for your support, and have a good weekend. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube if you have not done so, and also share our Telegram chat room for all stock market information that will put you ahead of the rest of the group. Bye bye.